morning. That's woken us up. That's great to have you here. And you say it's freezing out there.
It's freezing. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, you've warmed us up with some music.
Thanks.
And you're kind of reinterpreting some of your favourites.
Yeah, doing different versions of songs that I really like from the 80s and the 90s, yeah.
So we heard Seal there.
Yeah.
You've had Toyah doing Frankie Goes to Hollywood. I mean, you're really mixing it up.
Toyah and Robert Fripp doing Relax, yeah, that's quite an interesting.
How do you possibly go about choosing which songs to do new versions of, and also which singers you want on them? Because you've worked with so many over the years.
Yeah, well, you know, I did lots of demos, trying to find songs that have got substantial lyrics, things that a song, you know, when you work on a song, you're there for a long time, so you've got to like it when you start. But you're right, it's hard, and especially when, you know, you're up against a hit version of it, you know. But it was fun, and I'm kind of pleased at how it came out in the end.
You've got Rick Astley.
Got Rick Astley singing Owner of a Lonely Heart, an octave down from the original.
Well, you had to lower it for Rick's voice.
No, Rick just sings, the original singer in Yes sings very high. Rick sings quite low. If you think, oh, he has quite a deep voice. But he sings it really well.
He does.
Well, he's had such a resurgence, hasn't he? As in, sort of from being a big star in the 80s, been a bit of a quiet time, and now right back on top.
Well, he
Kids love him.
deserves it. He's really hard working, and he's a lovely guy.
Let's talk about who else is on the album. So you've got Iggy Pop singing
Yeah.
Personal Jesus, of course, classic Depeche Mode.
Yeah.
Again, how did that collaboration come about together?
Well, when we did I thought I'd do Personal Jesus like a jug band, you know, like a completely acoustic thing. And when we finished it, when we did the demo of it, it was figuring out who could do it, and we thought Iggy Pop maybe be good. And he was up for it, and he was lovely. You know, funny enough, out of everyone that sang on the album, Iggy Pop was the most prepared. He knew the arrangement perfectly.
Wow.
He was great.
Who was the least prepared?
Me.
I don't believe that for a moment, because you've loved it, and this is a labour of love, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit. A labour of love, yeah.
Yeah, it's taken a while, hasn't it, to put the album together?
Yeah, a couple of years. We rejected a lot of stuff, you know. We did lots of... But then I'm known for doing different versions of things, you know.
You rejected a lot of stuff, as in...
Well, we did. You know, we almost finished certain tracks and then dumped them, you know. So, yeah, there was a lot of wastage. These 11 are the best from about 30 that we did.
Ooh, so are there people that you got to sing things that didn't make the final cut?
Mostly me.
Okay. We're not going to get any names out, are we? No.
Well, we just described you then, you've been described as the man who invented the sound of the 80s. I mean,
Yeah.
and what a sound it was. I mean, do you look back with what, fondness, pride to that?
Well, what was great about the 80s was that all the technology was just being invented, and we'd get something new every couple of weeks. And for instance, a record like Relax was really because they brought out a new piece of kit that enabled you to link a Fairlight to a Linn drum machine. I mean, probably people won't know what I'm talking about, but it was exciting. And the whole of the 80s was like that. Now the technology it's been the same for years now, apart from a bit of AI.
Things like Relax. I mean, I think what's extraordinary about some of those songs is that they massively stood the test of time, haven't they? You listen to Relax, doesn't seem like a song that's, what, 30 years old?
I think it might, yeah.
Yeah.
40 years.
40 years old.
40 years old, Sarah.
Oh, blimey.
I know, I get that kind of feeling sometimes. Yeah, well, I think it's best not to be fashionable when you make records. If you're not fashionable, they last longer.
Right.
You know?
Is it true that when you were a kid, you burst into your parents' bedroom in the middle of the night and told them, I'm going to be a music producer?
I woke them up at 4 o'clock in the morning and said, I want to be a professional musician. I'm tired of trying to do a day job. It doesn't work.
And they said, not as tired as we
Oh,
are.
my father said, you're not good enough.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, well, you know, he was right. I wasn't good enough. You know, I had to practice. He came from don't forget, my father was a semi-professional musician, but he came from the big band era. And that's really where I come from, too. All my first gigs were with big bands, you know, playing, you know, what was called old music.
What did they think of Video Killed the Radio Star?
My father really liked it. He thought it was very catchy.
It is very catchy. It is very